Good evening, His Eminence Ganden Tripa Rinpoche, Ganden Rinpoche, members of the Sangha and directors of all the Dharma centers in Singapore, brothers and sisters. A very warm welcome to you to Amitabha Buddhist Center. Thank you for attending these teachings. Tonight is the first and the only teaching in Singapore given by His Eminence Ganden Tripa Rinpoche. Perhaps you might like to know about the biography and the history of such a distinguished teacher as His Eminence Ganden Tripa Rinpoche. Ganden Tripa Rinpoche, Kyabje Jetsun Lobsang Tenzin Pal Sangpo, was born in Tibet in 1934. Rinpoche was ordained as a monk at the age of 7. Following His Holiness the Dalai Lama into exile in 1959, he entered Seroje Monastery. He was enrolled into Sangpa Kamsen at the age of 17. Following a rigorous study of the Buddhist philosophies, he obtained the highest honor of Geshe Larampa degree in 1979 after debate examination attended by none other than His Holiness the Dalai Lama and other senior Buddhist scholars. After receiving the Geshe Larampa degree, he entered Yume Tantric College and 2 years later became the master of discipline. Rinpoche also studied the esoteric teachings of the Mahayana tradition extensively while he was there at Yume Tantric College. In 1985, His Holiness the Dalai Lama appointed him as the abbot of Yume Tantric University, a position he held for 6 years. Since then, Rinpoche has taught widely in India and in the West. Rinpoche has also been very closely connected to our Guru, Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the Khensa Lama Lundrup, and Kopan Monastery. For many, many years, Rinpoche has been invited to teach at the annual Monlam celebrations at Kopan Monastery as the principal teacher. Rinpoche was also director at Dongak Kupenling Dharma Center based in Montreal, Canada. In fact, Rinpoche just flew in from Montreal to be here in Singapore just for us. Rinpoche was appointed to the position of Changse Choje in 2010, which placed him second in line for the position of the Ganden Tripa after the former Shapa Choje, late Jetsun Lobsang Tenzin at that time. So, Rinpoche, thank you very much. We are really honored and privileged that to have your distinguished presence here in Amitabha Buddhist Center, and we please implore you to impart to us the precious teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa, Three Principles of the Path tonight. Thank you, Rinpoche.
Please turn to page 73 of the Red Prayer Book.
Jidan Kemba, Jiwu Duwe, Kalo Yuwa, Lana Meba, Hadami Namgi, Dumba, Sangye, Jumdende, Begyawa, Shagya, Tubala, Shazalo, Chudu, Gyatsu, Chi, Dumba, Jumdende, Dishi, Sheva, Trajumba, Yandaba, Zube, Sangye, Ribada, Shasu, Demba, Deva, Shiva, Jiden, Kimba, Kivu, Duwe, Kalo, Gyuwa, Lana, Meba, Lada, Minamgi, Dumba, Sangye, Chumdende, Begyawa, Shagya, Tubala, Chazalu, Chudu, Gyatsu, Chi, Dumba, Chumdende, Teshi, Rajumba, Yandaba, Zube, Sangye, Ribada, Shasu, Demba, Deva, Shiva, Jiden, Kimba, Kiwu, Duwe, Kalo, Gyuwa, Lana, Meba, Lada, Minamgi, Dumba, Sangye, Chumdende, Begyawa, Shagya, Tubala, Shazalo, Chudu, Gyatsu, Chi, 康子康年作我给当子萨贤的拉空巴顿波呢俺年是点的那求结孙的这个巴克拉上色罗南达公啊求多苏桑我一切要做事业公布着查巴吉达苏那那me我公布去年去了乔色罗千秋的马之面大卫生死都掌握去了乔色罗对着切着自把苏马西娘没看见去了乔色罗公布突击切点把他这看别顿巴布苏那云点叫做心体心神了乔色罗他别的查着我有给为眼送来这些基督团当求救吧西교去了乔色罗中年周围南阳等拉巴塔拉拉多尼心给坦巴眼点的跟顿拉呀乔色罗亚马也去了乔色罗九巴去了乔色罗跟顿去了乔色罗送拉大都苦乔色恰恰把他们接了新的工业常年给有的把也南滚都小的特别乔色罗第八季呀米恰新给我喷送错把些让给三年用速度点点三给等把也干嘛让人妈灭当给嘛是我去不当南罗达真大不杜杰去南的大道苏南的他们这些把你可帮同你跟给着对的嘎达那达去为老出呗西北错来着我说跑吧公主送了乔色罗的给大给特巴突见正点的脚步卡恰个碰波日给龙给跟顿全部当恰住三倍跟顿全部当塔基督修的天色中点的萨摩那我写下这个南庄给定业在那娘把手所养的菜长久三把三把全部怕把今日在望求写了也怕都多钱萨摩就把你拉南把他辛苦那不太大那样让心也东把南把大我天天三个给推才当真把下日不长久三把全部怕把今日在望求了的个见面所日给破看了写了给怕了千把萨摩就把的其他老把下的个见面把汤长久三把全怕把今日在望求给才当真把下着这的不了的个见面所下日不日给破莫看了写了给怕了都千把萨摩就把对把的其他南把大我家的普莫我不太大要让心给东把南把养到就是到我苏东把我东把你苏来东把你先买东把你来讲苏先买因诺的心都错我当都写当都接南把写把那东把我下日不太大去他们这东把你的菜你没把马街把马嘎把芝麻没把芝麻当这话没把看话没把我下日不太大为那东把你了苏没错我没都写没南把写把没没那没写没绿没苏没张没吃没肉没热家没去没多没给看没把你一给看没一给南把写没看给把多样没多马日把谁把没把嘎西没嘎西谁别怕多没多的心都东啊我当古中公把当老没一些没托把没马托把样没多下日不太大为查就三把能托把没别吃了写了也怕着多钱带着你的三拉这把没钱这把没的心就落来心都的那娘儿来的别他心都推送都能把事三爷他们这样写了也怕着多钱把了带来了那没让到不 소베 상주도 원바 조바 상게 소대다 외나 시라게 바로 뱅아 리바 쳔봉아 라나 메뱅아 미냠바다 냠바이가 둥아 삼제라도 시와 셰뱅아 미즘베나 덴바 셰바샤데 시라게 바로도 쳔뱅아 메바다야타 가데 파라 삼가데 보디스와하 샤리보 상주 삼바 쳔보 대다 시라게 바로도 쳔바 사모라 라바샤오 테네 좀된데 띵에진 텔레시
삼바
파바 지레세 왕초라 레소 셰차와 친네 레소 리게 보테 대신노 리게 보테 대신데 치다게 덴바 대신도 셰라게 바로도 쳔바 사모라 제바차데 대신 샤바난 경제수예랑 좀된데게 대게제 까세네 세단 덴바 샤라 차데 보당 차조세 삼바 쳔보 파바 지레세 왕초당 탐제다 덴베 코 대다다 미당 하마 인당 치사제베 지데 이랑데 좀된데게 송바라 원바도도 다야타 가데 파라 삼가데 보디소
기리돈다 자주시와다
미드네베 겐당 트와당 톰바 주신 푸소 초교 다시 대견 덴덴데레 쇼 page 97
다시 배치보자 다시 배치 당신스
Sorry, on page 98.
Angzuki Chonam La Shanshu Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gibe Sonangi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupa Shu Angzuki Chonam La Shanshu Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gibe Sonangi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupa Shu Angzuki Chonam La Shanshu Padu Dani Kyapsuchi Dagi Chunyen Gibe Sonangi Drola Penchir Sangye Drupa Shu
사단라 메메다미야 지용 보다 제전로서 저저저저저저저 산제 선보르도 신대베 주로 저와다 제전베 전에 드리시제 대베 주인들이 제사비리요 텐제 제바텔라 저도 대용고와 예 디엘라 베냐자 주세주세메 암비단에레 와툴라 투베 소년제 나몰라이가 탈루단네 정게 주보다다 메가나다 저와 군제잖아 제삼 tamyekedo dagwe chedendo kangi tona tenjuda omirando tenjeba sonjo sumba meba ye sanje de la jaza lo oya da te ani kasore arazo lama chibe nala lanji zamjine be tanjote yega nidu jibe tsudene teme tsedi chewe mayimba tenden imbolemba chingilo chane osumba nashin chere 오다 가르송을 틀레디 다를 렌지 로와 아니 가서래 단조게 댄서 보니까 봐 어때 단렌지 녀봐 렌단이 렌지 잠시니 배 단조디 세다 원녀봐 그 단조디 아니 녀봐까 봐 주주가 요거나 녀봐까 봐 오종가 요거나 녀봐까 봐 베스가 요거나 녀봐까와 렌지 잠시니 배 단조디 녀가스 대한 대체와 녀봐대한 대체와 내가 올라다대 대체와 아니 타둘라다대 대체와 까지 말을 신도 대체와 그 어디 녀봐까라 대체배 단조디 땡데란지 아니 렌지니 비트데스 당 알아서 녀봐를 와 대한 아니 가서래 되게 단조고 거대잖아. 땡디야 렌도 맨내봐. 아니 치와. 내가 치와 남지라 치. 내가 매봐 치위지 치마도 참 강매 매번 봐대 가나. 얘가 얘도 집이 추도네. 소지 얘가 얘도 집이 추도네. 되면 체대하다 다 된다면 얘봐 까와다. 얘봐 대야 렌 맨내봐. 얘도 집어 인자 달을 렌지特别 값을 값대 안에 가서 대체가 그 렌지 特别 값대 때문에도 마상 와 전화대 마치 치고래 쓰네 그래서 장고라마 종하고 준비 대제 돈나 되면 나와 팡스 예바가나 전에 되다 매 소나 시전에 오다 된다와대 tension 다 전화대 마치 치고 그래 야 소리다
So in the Guru Puja, as mentioned, there's this particular verse regarding the precious human rebirth. Having achieved this precious human rebirth of opportune state of leisure and endowments this once, is extremely difficult to obtain, and it was easily lost or easily disintegrates. May I not, please bless me that I may not be distracted by the meaningless affairs of this life, but use it to achieve great meaning. So here, this particular verse, it refers to the precious human rebirth that we have attained of the 8 leisures, and the 10 endowments and 10 richnesses. And so this excellent support or basis for Dharma practice is only obtained this once, and it's extremely hard to obtain. Extremely hard to achieve such a form of rebirth. It is hard in terms of the causes and conditions that come about to achieve it, as well as hard to describe in terms of examples to describe the greatness, richness of this precious human rebirth. And so this precious human rebirth having great meaning, it has great meaning in every way, every aspect, every single moment of this precious human rebirth, one can achieve great benefit from it. There's great meaning to it, extremely meaningful. So at this moment, we have all achieved such a precious human rebirth, and however, this basis, this physical support for Dharma practice will not last for all of eternity. One will quickly meet the circumstance of death impermanence, and will very swiftly meet with demise. So at this point of time, we must realize how greatly meaningful this precious human rebirth is, and how rare it is to obtain it, and is achieved only once. So therefore, we should strive to not waste this precious human rebirth. One must not render it meaningless by being distracted by the affairs of this life. One should always strive to achieve great meaning out of this meaningful precious human rebirth, as mentioned by Lama Tsongkhapa.
Oh yeah. Temechete che molemba tanden yimbo lemba chinjelo chane soana ta yimbo kan de jilang go re sana. Ani ta yimbo chungula. Kaji tamne kanda ke koyi dewa tamne la. Ani rani tendo nye ye ba jiwu tene chungu se soana se chane. Mandala ya ani dewa chima tarani tandanye ba ke ani tanjo ke tende ji nye ba ke tendo la be ba so go re. 같이 탐내다 한다 그 코에 대와 쌈다라 라니 텐도니 제바 주테니 충시 전에 남린 그 자와 남지 주면은 갈 수만하신 세디 아니 가서래 제와치마 나송한디네서 메돈바 아니 단적이 최저제 차와 그 리된 된데지네 我听着我的了，啊你，我出去那把大白洗生活的，莫让车嘛没被咱们生活，啊你，就是怕进去被出现哇，大地的广告好的，是吧？听几天就主要对面我的，没光结婚的，他我大对呢，这里到底被拿来生活的，啊你他，我对你。我的旅店咱们没旅店的旅店，咱们就他把那样出这么送过来。 我是吧？我的军人出这两千枚是我拿去，我的，对，我他等下把这等的机准备给听到了，满到了呀，你不从我等的机两块花钱，是吧？对呀。
So then the verse in the Guru Puja portion then continues saying that may I not be distracted by the meaningless affairs of this life, but always strive to extract the essence of such a meaningful rebirth. So what exactly does essence here refer to? According to the Lamp of the Path, which is the root text of all the Lamrims or the graduate path enlightenment, there it says, for those beings who strive to achieve rebirth, a higher rebirth in the next future life, to not fall into the lower realms, but to achieve the precious human rebirth similar to this physical support that we have right now, which is endowed with the 8 leisures and the 10 richnesses. So in order to achieve that, one needs to keep faultless ethics, observe ethical discipline. One needs to make stainless prayers, as well as with the assistive factor of the cultivation of the 6 perfections. So in short, in order to for a being, this is what we call the goal of a practitioner that belongs to the category of a being of the lower capable being with the lower capacity. So these beings, these practitioners, they strive to achieve such a precious human rebirth again once more in the future life in order to continue their practice. And in order to achieve that, one needs to, at the very basis, one needs to definitely to keep cultivate the practice of ethical discipline. Nos.
Oh yeah, that is. 가서 미국 지봉고 출은 야다바 송와라 때네. 我多少米旅店等的几年了呀？这个拿去当，俺那科技动了，说动啊，就上去了，没得把印章，俺那可以考了，他把天气就落个这个把印章， sibi de la japcho shi tibi le la do tani kashi rashi zamten ba ju tini zhenshi cha chani o da jiga lemzheng ga shi sumba na xin siba kowi dewa la japchi chowa tang ani o tibi le la do ba ani chowa du jiga dunga nyewa la sibi nishi tendu nyewa ki ani ju jingi lam la ya lo chong kwe
So, therefore, for these practitioners who strive to achieve a similar physical support in this next life, then they engage in the practice of actively abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. And through such a practice of abandoning and 10 non-virtuous actions, they then create the causes to achieve a higher rebirth in future lives, such as those of humans and devas. And then, however, even though one may have achieved such a higher rebirth, however, one is not beyond the boundaries of birth, sickness, aging, and death. So therefore, one realizes that even though one may be born in more opportune states, such as the higher rebirths, one is not beyond, not free of being the nature of suffering of samsara, or cyclic existence. So therefore, one, through understanding that all the happinesses of within cyclic existence is no more than mere suffering, one strives to achieve the 3 types of suffering: suffering of pain, of change, and especially the suffering of the all-pervasive compounded suffering, and which is the actual suffering that is to be abandoned. And practitioners who strive to do that then, with such a motivation, engage in keeping of ethics as well as practice of cultivation of wisdom, then these practitioners would be what we call the middling capacity, or the middle capacity practitioners.
Oh yeah. Nele tarpa kyo koma che toba treche ina rani jibo chawa doji jidunga nyawara shewa kini nele tarpa jamba che toba treche ina jun sepa da yuande sepa chore wa yinba rang dunga jina wa shen tu shen dunga jina wa la ya mi sepa rang shen dewa dewa da dunga mi dewa kun chungpa yin zang ane shen shen dunga jina wa la mi sepa yin je jo kwe we right? Rangi topi dunga je kashi shenji dunga de yanda seba kunen de jiwu teni choyin o chani o suwa nashi ane jiwu chenpu jiwu chibe lam ram ji nyamsi lemba kare ane jiwu chibe lam nyamsi lemba cheba la to de ta nishu chasi yanda be tawa o jiwu chibe lam ram nyamsi jewa la thoma chanchu kisam je tawa nyingje jewa re nyingje jewa cheba la ane jiwu chenda tumo nishu mena 아니 이제 계산 해봐. 그리고 거기 동아지 나주 삼번나 바부 요거 좀 매봐서 삼천신 동아지 나와라 미세비 이제 계산 매배 전에요. 어 장고나 뭐 정화지 승반나신 어디니 내중어도 들어가. 내중어 때는 아니 이제 전부. 이제 전부 때는 아니 이제 때는 아니 신 동아지 나와라 미세비 이제 대창네 아니 체도 저와 삼자지도 소자라는 뭐야다 봐서 산자지 고마 탐적을 놓지네 장주 그 사람 로장 장주 그 사람이 이제 천천히 줄라요 천천히 봐지 줄라 깨봐지 얘나 야다베 따와 매나 아니 코에서와 단세 말을 받아 차당 모습 좀 면해 봐 인장 아니 또 양답에 따왕 내버려 거봐 인장 오 대인자다 남지 저와 남바 숨라 렘바 신도 랍데 아니 나는 뭐 양답아 저에 사제지 장주 토크 같은 데 임바리.
Yes. So then above that there is the training of the higher capable being, whereby one understands that even though one may be following the path of the middle capable being, one can merely achieve partial achievements, attainments of self-benefit. In terms of when one achieves the goal of the lower nirvana by following the path of the middle capable being, one is unable to achieve work for the welfare of sentient beings, unable to achieve meaning or the benefit of others. And in terms of achieving benefit or welfare of oneself, it is only a partial achievement, because one does not, by achieving one's own lower nirvana, one is unable to completely exhaust all faults or completely perfect all qualities there are to perfect. So, and also through the understanding that all sentient beings are equaling space, just like oneself, are the same, in the sense that we all, whether it's self or others, we all desire happiness and we do not wish suffering, and so therefore we are all equal in terms of that. And also such beings who of such great capacity, or the greatest capable being, then cultivate the path to enlightenment, cultivate the training, the path of the greatest, greater capable being by training in minds of renunciation, as well as bodhicitta mind and the right view of emptiness. And in order to train in the mind of bodhicitta, mind of seeking to achieve enlightenment, the enlightenment mind, it necessarily has its roots in the mind of compassion. And in order to give rise to this mind of great compassion, one needs to follow that. One needs to support that with the understanding of renunciation. Without true renunciation of samsara, one is not able to give rise to compassion. And if one does not understand the nature of one's own cyclic existence, one would not be able to comprehend the extent of the suffering of all sentient beings. Therefore, in order to generate the mind of great compassion, one needs to have the mind of renunciation first. And through having a mind of completed mind renunciation, then following that, one is able to give rise to perfect compassion, mind of compassion, and through having generated a mind of compassion, only then is one able to give rise to the mind of enlightenment, of bodhicitta. You know, the mind wishing, which is the mind wishing to free all sentient beings from every kind of suffering and establish them in the highest state of bliss, which is a state of Buddhahood. And in order to achieve that, then one needs to train in bodhicitta mind. So then, even with even if one has these two, renunciation and bodhicitta mind, perfectly generated in one's mind, but without the force of the right view of emptiness, one is unable to destroy the different types of afflictive emotions that are in one's mind, such as anger, desire, attachment, jealousy, and envy, and so forth. So therefore, one needs to train in the right view of emptiness in order to complete the path to enlightenment. And therefore, the essence of the path to enlightenment has these three principles, which is renunciation, bodhicitta, and the right view of emptiness.
Oh yeah, that tender 탐제침도 고만 두바 쳐바게 아니 남지 쏘나 봤음 스체네 내가 자세 양다게 따왔음 못해 아니 양고나마 송어 첨벌라 차용봉아 완차바게 아니 고마 시원 하신 체네 오다 남지 쏘나 봤음 못해 마 디리 아니 셀론지 마 부야체 是吧？我等一下，天这边线路的把书啊切罢了，俺这他告诉嘞，俺这特别准备确实做到忙着些的，俺他的习惯那些上班抢救个什么的，俺这什么工人抢救个什么的，什么来啥来吧的，我工人抢救个什么了，马上呢，俺这确实嘛，看这是真的特别准备确实忙着吧，现在。 다 자주고 섬지 심바죠 거바yen 바yen 인자 타레 아니 다게 단조지 댄서 몰래지 토비 갑디 아니 거의 핀조라 마자와 마게 섬제 담저 코비나나 동아지 동아다 주의 동아다 차와 도시지 동아지 동아 섬제 냠다 받대남 아니 동아 주단제와라 차비치도 아니 토자라는 뭐야다 봐서 사제지 고마는 뭐지 진해지 토바 차기 티체도 토바 제발라 토제게 남냠수 련고 남냠수 련발라 시와고 시와라 퇴거와 예자 아니 남도 남서 숨기 아니 저를 셀론도 되지 아니 세년벽거나 아니 군론 텐데지거나 아니 상고 그래
So likewise, so please turn to the Red Prayer Book on page 141. This is the root text that will be explained tonight. So likewise, in order to attain Buddhahood, one necessarily needs to definitely cultivate the three principles of the path as mentioned above: renunciation, bodhicitta, and the right view of emptiness. So this particular text, called the Three Principles of the Path, laid out before us, was written as a encouragement or advice by Lama Tsongkhapa to this particular master called Thakur Ngawang Chakpa. So today, Tripa Rinpoche will offer us the explanatory transmission or the shelung of this particular text. So. Motivation here is extremely important, since what we are about to listen to a Mahayana teaching. Our motivation should be one that is captivated by the mind of bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta, no matter what practice we may do, without the bodhicitta motivation, no practices ever become that of Mahayana Dharma. So therefore, please adjust your motivation by firstly thinking that we have achieved this precious human body through which is equipped with the 8 types of leisures, as well as the 10 richnesses, and one should not be attached to the perfections of some cyclic existence. One should know that all the mother sentient beings throughout space are caught up in the 3 types of suffering: the suffering of pain, the suffering of change, as well as the all-pervasive compounded suffering. So, in order to free all these sentient beings from these 3 types of suffering, I must strive to achieve the fully enlightened state of Buddhahood. And for this purpose, I must cultivate the path to achieve such a state. And in order to cultivate the path, I first need to know the method or the nature of the path. And for this purpose, I shall now listen to this explanatory transmission of this text, the 3 principles of the path.
Oh yeah, that did the London number symbol. I can't go at Chabala. That you done Lamsum subject to my boss. I wanted that Lord did this chin about Tower de Gina, and the Tomago or Patogo, Tamago or some check. Tomago, and the Chabajava, the Sheba Tamjavata, and then they never go said to some go at it. That Thomas gave a day, and it's Chubba de Quade, Sena, and it is Lamanam la Chatalo, said the Chubba Jabba. What is in Lamanam la Chataro, said that, or so the and it Jangamazong Chumbogi, Yanda Betavakala nearby Lama. Any jungle, Gigi Jambe and Chilla Dene, and Yanda Betawa to the Chuba Yinzang. When it died, the castle, the Jambe and the chair Jabba. Jambe and Dene, Yanda Betawa to the Chuba de, and the jungle, let me change a little on the Shindu Sever, Samba Dark Jenny, or Jenny, the Jenny Butita, Zayo and I see Jenny, or Zavi Lama so de, and the jungle, and the castle, Gigi Jambe Yandang, T. Chembe, and the children of the Lama Namla, and the Chaba Jabba. Or Chaba Jabba de la Gizelamana Tatalo. Or Chaba Jibba go on, you do it and be Jabba Tumbatang. Then you jump a touch Chimbatang. Then you jump a Pachashiwala, so the Chidu, and it is a Lamanam la Chatalo, say Gala, Gizambe, and it's so cheve, children with the Jinamanam la Chaba Jabba to do somebody.
So here in the 3 principles of the path, there is the outline of this text. There is an outline for even this text, even though it's short. There are 3 main sections. There's the beginning, we'll call the virtuous at the beginning, virtuous in the middle, and virtuous at the end. And that which is virtuous in the beginning starts with this expressing the homage to the gurus. And in the text, Lama Tsongkhapa says, I bow down to my perfect gurus. And Lama Tsongkhapa himself, in his lifetime, he achieved mastery over the perfect mastery over the right view of emptiness by relying upon his guru which was his direct vision of Manjushri in person. And so here, by relying on Manjushri, that was precisely by relying on Manjushri that he achieved mastery over the perfect view of emptiness. So therefore here he pays homage to Manjushri, and also on his other gurus, pays homage to his other gurus that have guided him, such as Shonu Lodro and so forth. And in here, by paying the purpose of paying homage by the author at the beginning of this text is for auspiciousness, and also to accumulate merit as a form of prayer that the composition, the text that is about to be composed, would be able to reach its completion, and and the process of composing it, for there to be no hindrances whatsoever to arise at all. Nos.
Oh yeah, that the learning that Java doji na. Ani jizi lama namla cha lo se gala. Ani shinye tembe paye ma tembe nyemi. Ani sambe tenzu jewe tenzu. Oda tenzu jizi lama namla cha lo se ke learning that jana. Ani lamje zawa shinye tembe suje da di na ka su tengu wari.
Nos.
Yeah.
So here in this very first line, when it says, I bow down to my perfect gurus, even though it's expressing homage, but if one were to combine this text in very specifically with the Lamrim outline, or the outline of the system called the graduated path to enlightenment, then this particular verse refers to the section of relying on the spiritual friend, or the virtuous friend, the guru. And then by showing it, what it shows here is that the relying on the guru, the master, is the root of the path, and also it also contains all the sayings in that section regarding the benefits of proper reliance, as well as the on a qualified master, and the drawbacks or downfalls of not correctly relying on the master. And then also it talks about how to rely on the master through thought as well as through action, through service. Loss.
Oh yeah, that in Asia but time Jawatella. Namdang Jume was Sisoi, then that Teneshi with Tamela. Good Chimba Jana Good Tomang Junza said the water. Namdang Jume was Sisoi, then that Teneshi with Tamela. Nejume Bala, Koy the one Yamarsheva, and Yishava Tame Messi. Namdang Jume was a good Chimba Jan Casa. Namdang Jume was said, but then that Teneshi with Tamela. See that last one. You saw a good with the Tessaman, you saw a good in Britain, Tessataman, Abella. And then Tanjanamji to wood, Sita Nishin Daki Shabacha, said Shabatan Javacha. Now Shabatan Javacha, you never go on a second. You saw a good in Britain, said Gala, Nation. Jasataban Namji Abelam, say Gala, Chanjukisem. And the Tanjanamji Jumude, say Gala, Yanda Betawa. Oh, to the Chani, Rere Jana to say. Yana Jasata Kachunga, and then Jilas Pachani. Lamson also Koran la Jane, and a Jana to God, what to Jaga. There is Sura Guji in Britain, Jasatabanam Abelam, and then Tandanamji Jumu de say, oh, Davy, and it take us Tender Castle, what the Lamsaba Tamja, what to say.
So then we look at the text that it says the section which is the promise to compose. Then this promise to compose begins with the verse that says, the essential meaning of the victorious one's teachings, the path praised by all the holy victors and their children, the gateway of the fortunate ones desiring liberation. This I shall try to explain as much as I can. And there is also another way of understanding this particular paragraph by combining the first three verses with the three principles. The first one, the essential meaning of victorious one's teachings, can refer to renunciation. And the second line, the path praised by all holy victors and their children, refers to bodhicitta. And the third line, the gateway of the fortunate ones desiring liberation, refers to the correct view of emptiness. So therefore, this is a way of combining this verse with the Lamrim outline as well. Nos.
Oh yeah, Devi Sura Kunji Nimbi Ten Se Kelang Sura Tamjagi Nimbo Toma Kolang Wachi Ngandi Tungalang Wachumata Koya Tungalang Mewala Ani Lam Shamba Jessa Meba in the Devi Sura Kunji Nimbi Ten Se Jessa Tambanam Jung Abelam said Chanju is same day Jessa Tambana Jung Abelam Chanju Jessa Chanju Samba Yemede Chanju say Yemek Jessa Draw Yenzang Jessa Tambanam Jung Abelam Chanju Sem Ani Ganden Tripa Namji Jungoje said Taba Taba Chebala Taba Dunga Kasane Taba Toba Chebala Taba Tobjegi Ani or Pachuka Zawa Nanzi Mari Basabena Java Bango, the Teponja Body Yanda Betawa Yenzang, or Ganden Tripa Namji Jungo, Jenny, or Tusani, Tijeri, Ring, Chasan Yanda Balatawala Jaya, Jildan, Tajishuanashi, or Sunga, and Lamsa Sumbori La Jaya, Lamsa Sunga La Jada, then you are a car channel to got it. They say, Chitani Takashaba Charge.
So here, as we mentioned earlier, the meaning of these first three lines of this particular paragraph can be understood in terms of the bodhicitta, in terms of the three principles of the path. The essential meaning of the victorious one's teachings here refers to renunciation of cyclic existence. Without thoroughly renouncing the entirety of cyclic existence, one is unable to generate the other realizations that follow. One is unable to begin the path towards enlightenment. So therefore, this is the first and foremost. And second line that says, the path praised by all the holy victors and their children. So because this is a Mahayana path, therefore the essence of the Mahayana path is the mind of bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. Therefore, this Mahayana bodhicitta mind is the most important subject. So therefore, it is praised by all the holy victors and the children. And then the third one, the gateway to fortunate ones desiring liberation, that is the view of emptiness. For those who wish to achieve liberation, they need to abandon, the object of abandonment here for them is the adhering to this concept of the self, truly existent self. So this mind of ignorance or bewilderment, of wrong understanding, adhering to the truly existent self, is the object of abandonment, and therefore, by having the real emptiness, the antidote to that is the correct view of emptiness. So therefore, it is called the gateway of the fortunate ones desiring liberation. So therefore, one can view this paragraph within the outline of the Lamrim or within the exclusive outline of the three principles.
Oh yeah, the Sheba Tanja was the Chene. Kata Sibi de la Majashi, Tanjo Tenchachi, Jamoy, Jawa Jivilana, you didn't be Ganden Tanja, Haman Yi said it, and then never go. Kata Siba Korean Pinzola Machabata, and then she did a Shivitawala Machaba. Kata Sibi de la Majashi. I never Tanjoji dance humble. Top and it 10 years by Chavi cherries, 10 by Chavi cherry. Jawaki Lam, and the Lamjan over number Sumbom. Yanda Betawa, or that Jawaki Lam like you did be, you did be, and you cover that and Casa Teta. And it all I'm just over number somebody, and it or Casa. 那些健身办法的推荐对些出代表过呢，我这里也半年过来，是年不过，他都是没的。
Yes. So then the next verse it says, those who are not attached to the pleasures of cyclic existence, who strive to make freedom and endowments meaningful, who entrust themselves to the path pleasing the victorious ones, you fortunate ones, listen with a calm mind. So here, the first line is also referring to renunciation, persuading the listener or the disciple to not be attached to the pleasures of sacred existence. So to generate thoroughly the mind of kasa, renunciation, renouncing the perfections of samsara, to not be attached towards it, and then who strive to make freedom and endowments meaningful. This can also refer to bodhicitta mind, because to not encouraging the listener to not be attached to the pleasures or the bliss and joy of lower nirvana, which is the root, the fruit of the lower paths. So encouraging to generate the mind of bodhicitta, and also encouraging this disciple by to make good use of this precious human rebirth of freedom and endowments meaningful. They're extremely meaningful, and to put them to good use by using them to train in the mind of bodhicitta. And the last one, it says, who entrust themselves to the path pleasing the victorious ones. This can also be understood to be referring to the right view of emptiness. So here again is a way of presenting the three capable beings, or the three principles of the path. And then this section also, if you refer to the corresponding outline in the Lamrim, then it is the section that talks about abandoning the three faults of a vessel, three types of faulty vessels, and possessing the 6 kinds of thoughts when listening to the Dharma teachings. Laws.
Oh yeah, that part will go out here. And then you just say, "Yeah, that better also share." 是吧？但我就先把台了呀，我就超过于军战，我就超于粗，俺那我就基本才是都是加上这个接的他，是吧？但他们我就超过于军战的了，他说你个拆了，老外把医疗官别拆的哪些多，是吧？哦，他说你个拆了，我们把医疗官别拆的哪里头？ 连点米路可以多啊，那样样准备前面那些多，是我得他们说啊。
南大研究
没把事做于，但那的说，南大研究没把事做于，但天天是为他们讲，是了，刚把一讲就讲那过年春节他们研究咋是我得的他，南大研究没把事把考了出来的，安尼。 타비 아마리스 안당을 좀 해봤을 때 아니 시바 코비 된데 녀라 시바게 타바테니 로제바게 타비 아마리스 안당을 좀 해봤을 때 된데 테니 시베 타메라 시라 감바 예장 르잖아 시바 코비 대와라 감바데 차바기 아니 르잖아 남장 오다 그네 친지리스다 오 된다며 아니 당신 마리바게 아니 그做前之前呢，俺就考了前这个之前我也在前面去呢，俺就打通嘛，俺那就照顾人，是我那天我就做的啊。
So the first 2 paragraphs, the first 3 sections expressing the homage, promise to compose, persuading to listen. These 3 compose of the first section, which is the virtues at the beginning. And next is the middling section, which is the virtues in the middle, which is the actual body of the text, which is a teaching on the actual teachings on the 3 principles. So the first one, it says the purpose of genuine renunciation. Without the complete intention, definitely to be free from circling, there's no way to pacify attachment, seeking pleasurable effects in the ocean of circling. So therefore here it says that one does not, one has no choice if one desires to be free from the ocean cycling of the ocean of cyclic existence, if one there's no option other than to generate, one has no choice but to definitely generate the mind of renunciation. And here it says the complete intention definitely to be free is referring to the mind renunciation. If one does not have this mind renunciation, there's no way that one can actually seek the opposite, which is liberation, which is why it says there's no way to pacify attachment seeking pleasurable effects in the ocean of circling. And the next line it says, also by craving for cyclic existence, embodied beings and continuously bound. Here it says that because of this craving for the pleasures of cyclic existence, embodied beings means all these sentient beings are continuously binding themselves to such a state of suffering due to the mind of adhering to or grasping at the self-existent I. Due to the force of this ignorance, they continuously bound themselves to this state of suffering. So therefore it says, therefore at the very beginning seek renunciation.
Oh yeah,
So then the next verse, how to generate renunciation. Essentially, this is this section here. Renunciation is divided into two points: renunciation towards this life, as well as renunciation towards future lives. So here it says, freedom and endowments are difficult to find. So by contemplating upon our perfect human rebirth, this physical support for our practice, how its nature of being endowed with, being replete with freedom, the 8 types of freedoms and 10 endowments, how such an opportunity rebirth is very hard to find. Not only that, it is hard to, not is it only hard to obtain, rare to obtain, but it is also very much subject to death and impermanence. It will not last for a long time. So therefore the next line where it says, and life has no time to spare. Life has no time to spare. So then it says, by gaining familiarity with this, attraction to the appearances of this life is reversed. So here, if you want to understand this in corresponding to Lamrim, it is referring to the section on meditating on death and impermanence, especially the three major outlines where it says that death is certain, and the firstly being the death is certain. Secondly, the time of death is uncertain, and thirdly, at the time of death, nothing except the Dharma benefits. So therefore, And then also to further contemplate the benefits of remembering death and impermanence and the faults of not remembering death and impermanence. And then this is further followed by what we call the description of a process of meditating on death and impermanence in what we call the 3 roots and the 9 reasons, the 9 reasonings. And so the 9 reasonings fall under the 3 roots. The first, the one that, as a result of contemplating the 3 outlines we mentioned before, one realizes one comes to, or rather there are 3 reasonings that makes one come to the conclusion that one must practice Dharma. One must definitely engage in Dharma practice. And then the following 3 reasons then, reasonings then bring us to the second conclusion, which is that one definitely needs to begin one's practice Dharma now. One should not delay Dharma practice. And the following 3 reasonings then will help us come to the conclusion that not only must we practice Dharma, begin Dharma practice without delaying, but we must also practice it purely without it being stained by mundane concerns. Loss.
Oh yeah, that's it. Na xian duo ni da 가르치고 그래서나 치유 제수 아니 안 송그教练的안 송그 동안 송도见了 也给这个解释呢做过人送的见了안 송그 동안报的没把用过我现场 아니 동안 대다了就原了吧 아니 다工作上来就是准备站着 我的就开始些人吧的是吧我的告诉了 我说东啊把人没在那你呢工作上来叫做是地方给做他到就把了这把后来就把亲戚老送啊那些钱呢我和鸡蛋东稀稀古巴了就即兴这边找即兴站了台来这边你把这工作上来要把一切别过呢基督人也看得这群人那么工作上接着了1000年别过了俺这工作上来就是准备讲着他 아니 잠지 라자 토마다 토마 많이 받다라 라야데 어 라바라 때네 아니 체제 나셔 돈에 저와 처만 온도 주지 그리도에 리데 가서 주주에 도시 말이
Can someone bring me the Guru Puja text, please? So in this life, then the next text it says, by thinking, to the lumbering section. By thinking over and over again that actions and their effects are unbetraying and repeatedly contemplating the miseries of cyclic existence. So here you could understand this to be the section on karma when one is fearing rebirth, rebirth in lower realms. See 84. Yeah. Rebirth in the lower realms as a result of the actions of this life, one will have rebirth. Negative actions, negativities one has engaged in this life, one will be reborn in the 3 lower realms and come to experience boundless suffering, boundless pain. So by realizing the reality of this karmic situation, one starts to panic or have fear towards one's situation, one's karmic destiny. So therefore one seeks an authentic object of refuge, which is the Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, the Triple Gems as our refuge. Because of this fear of karma, then there is also this verse that Rinpoche has just quoted from the Guru Puja that says, aghast at the searing blaze of suffering in the lower realms, I take heartfelt refuge in the 3 precious gems, and seek your blessings that I may eagerly strive to abandon all negativities and accomplish the accumulation of every virtue. So therefore, then by understanding such, because of the fear, like being panic-stricken at one's karmic destiny of possible rebirth in the lower realms, one seeks out 3 jewels as one's objects of refuge. So therefore, having these 2 factors of refuge, the factor of fear, as well as the factor of faith in the qualities of the 3 jewels as being an authentic object of refuge. We seek refuge in the 3 jewels, and we train in the specific trainings that are related to this section of the karma teachings, which is training in the abandoning of non-virtue and engaging in virtue. And through such practice, one comes to have higher rebirth, achieve a better physical basis or rebirth in the higher realms in one's future lives.
Oh yeah. That in the land, Milu, Koya Dungana, Yaya Sam, Chima Nasha Dog. So, well, then, Milu, Koya Dunganam, Segala, Lang Yawata, Le Pitch, Wata, Le Majavata, Majaba. That land of Chisaba, the Chirasamba, New York, what did you lens the Chisaba, near Pitchava, Majavata, Majaba, Chava Chimisa, Walasawake. Only land Milua. You give a chavala then to the watchumata. You may give a chava to Achuma. They are any casore, give a chuchi down, and they were persons of what Jabatan. Any le picture was do not make a chuchi down, and do not. The chimp bottom of a Java. What to in that picture was a Maja, Chavachimis, what I saw, Landa Milu, through some Landa Milu, or to send a relay, Landa Ginambashabatam. Let Gidigi Lake Yuangi, Lanji Shawanji Pumbo Jilin, Chinjala. I know Kawachi Duadam, Chetasosi Dua. Koachi doing. I never remember one by member, Lian Diana to be doing, Yan tormented to be doing, Yan in some to be you doing, Tromebala, so be doing, and it's in the Sumbanacha Gile, what did I get Koachi doing a town? Cheta Anita, give it to her, so sit doing, give it to her, give it to her, now you do her, and it's she doing her. Do but I try to a drum, do but I tell me town. So that's a dumb, do not choose somebody to do what Tendigi, and it do not that some land them into Kobe, do want them, Yana Samine. And it don't not call you Pinto Kandiji in Dana, and it do not Chibala, and it don't want by Mando, Rashi, there was a son and never. Sijavikas Sumban Laje, patient by it, there was a toba chuba, Tenzin, they say do not patient and toba chuba, may say Gana. Maranzi, and it, there were them, there was the chisam, there down, tired to much ration love, to the matter, what is our Meza, Swana, Shane, what to me, could you pins of contagion that do much ration and Mateba. And the June again, you say, Toma, Nashin, Chani, what a dollar medieval watcher do. You have something. Got the castle and young diamond to a queer pinzona, Yaya son at Chiminasha door, say, order, Chiminasha Taba to him, but Tabatin, you could watch it, but do one ever Shabaka.
Yes. So then one also goes on to further contemplate on the general sufferings of samsara, such as having to be born in the different. Sorry, I just missed a page. One also, by contemplating karma, one needs to go through the specific outline of the karmic section of karma, where it says that karma is certain, in its effects. That if one engages in virtue, it definitely brings about the fruition results of happiness, and if one engages in non-virtue, it definitely it brings about the fruition of suffering. So therefore, this is definitely this law is definite. There's no mix-up whatsoever. And the second concerns the magnification of karma. Though one may engage in a small amount of virtue, but small virtuous acts may bring about huge blissful fruition of fruits of happiness. And small acts of negativity, negative actions may bring about boundless suffering. So this is a magnification of karma. And also that whatever karma one has created will not go to waste. It will definitely ripen in a matter of time. then whatever karma one has not created will not meet with the fruition or the result of that. So then one further goes on to contemplate the general sufferings of samsara, such as having been to be born over and over again, going through the higher and lower realms alone, having to always leave behind one's loved ones and so forth. So there are all these generic sufferings of samsara, and also the specific sufferings such as birth, aging, sickness, and death. And then also separating from loved ones, having to ultimately separate from loved ones, and meeting those that one dislikes, and so on and so forth. So this section of regarding the suffering of samsara falls under this category. And then, in short, as long as we are bound within this state of existence called samsara, cyclic existence, we are never beyond the boundaries or the demarcation of suffering. We're never beyond suffering at all whatsoever. Whatever perfections within this state that we may encounter, it is nothing more than mere suffering itself taking on various forms. So after some time, when we come to realize this, we will develop such revulsion towards samsaric perfections in the way a person who is sick, no matter what kind of foods you bring to that person, he only induces nausea in that patient. So likewise, one would have nothing but just mere revulsion to samsara when one has perfect renunciation. So here, the following verses that explains that by thinking over and over again that actions and their effects are unbetraying and repeatedly contemplating the miseries of cyclic existence, attraction to the appearances of future lives is reversed. No.
Oh yeah. 대다 공부 거야 편조라 유명하게 자야 미제신 인생 군도 타바 되니를 주나 체중에 좀 깨발라 다 다중대 공동을 좀 초위 추대 차네 당에就是초와 먹는 좀 겁네 아니 대다 공부에서 거와 지장 체장 그 안에 동아당是吧 아니 공부에 대다 거에 아니 거의 편조 간대지 있나요 다시 시와 나些 동아 치제 와서 대화를 봐서 맞아 라시지 대화 자원에 매장 매와 인장 니네 대다 거에 편조라 유명하게 자야 매제신 인생 그도 거에 동안 녀월 시비 니시 토바 점되기 아니 로지 계속나 我听着我的他把天一个老接他妈接吧的，等于在天接吧地上，俺那那种接吧的是哦，太大个了，个了平时了，有没有感觉咱们没信心？人家工作他把天呢咯，穷来的真要就接吧啦，是我的我就接不才的吧的。
Then the next verse talks about the definition or the mark of having generated renunciation. As we mentioned above, by going through the various methods of meditating upon the suffering, the multifaceted suffering nature of cyclic existence, the specific the general sufferings as well as the specific sufferings of the different realms, one comes to generate an experience or an actual meditative achievement of renunciation mind, whereby no matter what one may encounter in one's in person, no matter what situation or object one may come across, one simply is unable to see it as being deceived by it to be true happiness. It simply does not pass beyond its true nature of suffering. So therefore, one generates a mind renunciation very strongly, and this is defined by the following verse, on verse 5, and it says, when by having trained it that way, there's no arising, even for a second, of attraction to the perfections of cyclic existence, and all day and night, the intention seeking liberation arises, then the thought of renunciation has been generated.
Oh yeah, that 되게 你就错于初当，你就错中二当，俺那你就界别才是马前才呢。那第一节了，俺那强就是生命界，俺那错过， 산주 심 제비 추 찬주 심 제와 제비 체 노스천이 연구 아래
So the above portion we have completed section regarding body renunciation, the purpose of generating renunciation, how to generate, go about actually generating renunciation, and the definition of having generated renunciation. So then we move on to the second portion, or the second principle, which is the mind enlightenment or bodhicitta. And again, this is divided in 3 sections: the purpose of generating bodhicitta, how to go about generating it, and the definition of having generated the mind of enlightenment. Laws.
Oh yeah, that the country sana chanju sim je chanju ngju de chanju sim ji sim go go an de country sana chanju sim je go so ye ne ju de nam da sim je ji sim ba me na la me chanju ji pin zo je be ju lu min je be luan de nam je chanju sim jo je se wo sim je go be ne ju de chanju ge sim ji ma se na la na me ba ya da ba so sa ye ju ko ma to be ju min je ba我长期特别清楚看啥个，俺三姐就恐怕特别就么觉得，俺的长久个身体谁嘛谁来了嘛，长久个身体我身体太早咱们就修行的，那就这帮咱们就学单的，错你过来谁就知道不？错的错到一些个就错的，俺的三姐就恐怕他话个就来专门做的长久身体路来，长久身体什么来啥来玩意的，错你过来谁就知道不？我来讲个说对比算他们的。대다시에 개사 보고는 현재 섬저 투담도 제 성화지 성화나 제자리 자주 설명해 버리지 맞게나 아니 나 산재주 고마도 봐그 좀 이러면이죠 네 중대한 남다 섬제지 심밤매나 라메 장주배 라메 장주 들은 메주배 원대 남제 장주 섬저 제세 산주 섬제 그게 소대체
So this section explains why we need to generate bodhicitta. When does one need to cultivate bodhicitta mind? Even though having completed the practice of renunciation, perfected the mastered the teachings of renunciation, practice of renunciation, but if that mind, if one does not move on to cultivate the mind of bodhicitta, it does not become the cause of enlightenment. So therefore it says, even if renunciation has been developed, if it is not possessed by the mind of enlightenment, it does not become the cause of the perfect bliss of unsurpassed enlightenment. Therefore the wise generate the supreme mind of enlightenment. So this bodhicitta mind is described as being like an alchemic elixir, whereby there's this particular verse that describes the 2 types of merits, the merit of fortune and the merit of wisdom. By relying on these 2 merits, the completion of the accumulation of these 2 types of merit, then does one come to achieve the fully enlightened state of Buddhahood. So this is not possible without generating the mind of bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta mind, one is not able to complete the 2 accumulations of merit of fortune and merit of wisdom, particularly merit of fortune. So therefore, in order to achieve full Buddhahood, one needs to generate mind of bodhicitta.
Oh yeah. 다 집이 수칸들에서나 제 교육을해서 다 제주칸들에서나 아니 그 장주그 성제 완라 다주 공주 시와나 신전에 아니 준대 명아 뒤암 다샤님지고 로자니 아니 저 완전히 전부 제니 아니 인지 주체나 장주 성제거 봐 인장 아니 저 인지 제거 와래 인자 주자 초시 진제제 와就是咱们这什么那边朋友的那这学着休息经济些大概来的情况谈当前这些特别不是路马人明白马前归纳情我们十八节是结完了东阿松节经济没办那儿那个等着居民马南的俺做什么什么叫结巴这才能我的生活的是吧？我一直学着学习经济学谁干了，学的了，俺那对学的这位学是需要的，对学大位学、对比学、马里比学、西比学是学的个赚钱呢。俺那他这位学过教瓦当、高瓦当、南瓦当、七瓦给，俺那这个拿起东啊，3000年来就碰不得，是吧？学着学习经济学。 아니 도발까비 내지 아서는 다서나 많이 빌래라 나서와 그미빌래라 소리 아니 수다 초시 이제 도가 내지 친구 담배담 당진 자지 차배 부스 좀 머리 비면베베 아니 마치 그네 티바 아니 코알라 타면 스바요 몸에 스바를 지신 깨와로세 아니 다 토마네 타파도 아니 다 레다님은 그 샤완도 주제 사자니는 통보대 렌친레니 아니 동아지도 와다 동아다 차와도 그 동아라서와 동아 숨지 진짜 매봐봐 난데 ਸਮਝা나 말아 동아 숨지 내가 딘다 주위 만남지 세리가 된다이 섬전 대다기 아니 다 동아 숨지 나수 대다 그 삼니 아니 다 대다 동아지 나와라 미세바기 년제당 동아 대다당 차와대 따라랑 그 책을 냠바기 좀더 그 년제 깨니 년제 뒤 창비 아니 대다 동아라 저와 제바들라 아니 나는 뭐 양담바 쪽에 산에 관한 공방 마도 봐라 아니 동아라 좀 믿어 봐 인장 아니 장주 그 섬게 봐 내가 된다 주위에 만남지 안주 삼네 섬조 제바 저 시가라 오다 섬게 기비 수대 도시체 대수 대수라 된다비 샘데 제마 마연 바친 앙음 휴식 계디잖아 아니 섬게 기비 차대 되는 말에
No. So therefore, then it goes about to say how to generate the mind of enlightenment. And here there are two ways. If one looks at the Lamrim outline, there are two manners of generating bodhicitta mind. First is what we call the 6 causes and 1 result. And the second one method is the exchanging of self and others. So essentially, both these two techniques have as their primary purpose, which is as generating the mind of great compassion. By generating great compassion, only then can one actually give rise to produce the result of the bodhicitta mind. So we look at the verse where it says number 7, swept away by the current of the 4 powerful rivers, tied by the tight bonds of karma, so hard to undo. So this section here describes the pitiful state of sentient beings. You know, one meditates upon the suffering of sentient beings within cyclic existence in order to generate great compassion, which will lead to the mind of bodhicitta. So here the 4 currents or the 4 torrents or 4 powerful rivers has 2 aspects. There is the causal aspect and the resultant aspect. The causal aspect refers to the 4 things: desire, view, and the right force of deeds, as well as ignorance. And as a result of these 4, then this causes us to have the 4 types of suffering, which is birth, aging, sickness, and death. So then as a result of that, one is constantly reborn in cyclic existence with this contaminated aggregates. Contaminated aggregates, there is the basis of all our sufferings, the basis from which all our negative karma ripen. So therefore it says, swept away by the current of the 4 powerful rivers, as we explained above, and tied by the tight bonds of karma, so hard to undo. And sentient beings are constantly caught in the iron net of self-grasping, grasping and adhering to this grasping at the inherently existent self, and therefore are completely enveloped by the total darkness of ignorance, this bewilderment of being blind towards the truth. And you're constantly under the chains of ignorance. Therefore, sentient beings are never free from samsara, can never, are almost unable to free themselves from samsara. They are endlessly reborn in cyclic existence and ceaselessly tormented by the 3 sufferings. So because of under the chains of ignorance, they're constantly being reborn into contaminated aggregates and experience the 3 types of suffering of pain, change, and all-pervasive compounded suffering. So therefore, One, by thinking that all mothers are in such a condition, generate the supreme mind of enlightenment. By contemplating upon the suffering of mother sentient beings, one develops a strong desire to become a protector, to freedom, protector for them, to free them and guide them out of this miserable state of cyclic existence. And so one is unable to do so without attaining the perfect state of enlightenment of Buddhahood. Therefore, one aspires to achieve Buddhahood for their benefit. And so, and not just a merely a fabricated mind of bodhicitta, a mind of enlightenment, but an actual direct experience, unfabricated mind of bodhicitta mind, which is what we seek to achieve.
Oh yeah, that digi chanju ke sem sai sai ne. Ta sumba yang da be tawa xia ba de la, yang da be tawa cho yu su dang. Yang da ba tawa ane ji bi ren ba. Ane ka so de. Oh, ta da ka so jia ba zo ma zo dang. 아니 나와 여다세다 다 동네 매다세 줄에서 다른 무슨 지금 뭐 신도 여와 인자 당부들아 따와 초급이 추들라 가서래 요새 숨자 내루도 비셔람 미대나 내루데 사무동반이도 비셔라데 마대나 아니 공도시아바게 남제서 고만이 내준다 찬주겠잖아 양다바 아니 공발이钱냐 아니 다 덴진게 자와 덴진 코와이 자와 덴진 제바 제바라 덴진게 현임에 받다 와지 고고와리 덴진게 현임에 받마도바 아니 덴진 뻥면에 봐 리유스요메바니 대범하니 가봐요. 연탄견나 녀자바 대다다서 방원데 대다 유라 마도바 이지 치주다금이 소나시잖니 어디 나시자 인장 귀상이 받도바 그 돈이도 별로지 고고와리 인장 어디 인장 가서 내루도 비셔라 미대나 내중 장주 셈라 콤체장 스비자와 제바 미니베 대준전 대체나 어떤 단중의 단대 동배 통이 도마라 배고그래 전에 따와 소위 수치체.
So earlier on, Che apparently had also recited the definition of having generated the mind enlightenment. In short, if like the mother whose cherished son has fallen in the pit of fire and who experiences even 1 second of suffering as an unbearable eternity, your reflection on the suffering of all mother sentient beings has made it impossible for you to bear the suffering for even 1 second. And the wish seeking enlightenment for their sake arises without effort, then you realize the supreme precious mind of enlightenment. So next we talk about the reason to meditate on the right view. Without the wisdom realizing ultimate reality, even though you have general renunciation and the mind enlightenment, you cannot cut the root cause of circling. So the root cause of circling here refers to constantly circling within cyclic existence, within samsara. And the root cause of that is the adherence or the grasping at the self as being truly existence. If one is unable to abandon such an adherence to true existence, one would not be able to abandon samsara, though one might have already perfected or mastered the minds of renunciation and bodhicitta. Therefore, it says, therefore attempt the method to realize dependent arising. Yes.
Oh yeah, that is that our giving batera. Cause 내루도베 셔라 메다는 거지 자주 삼라 거들 시비자와 제범민에 대지 땡데도베 타라베 강식 권제 전화 탐제지 균례나면 로 메도시 미비대서 강의 귀시 버티니 사제집에 남라슈 세타와 집에는 말 강식 권제 전화 탐제지 세가라 아니 코안 주비 봐 말이 받달라 니원도 제길래 아니 누제빌레라 때네 아니 남시에 때는 미수 때내려서 코안 주비를 바라시지 매장 아니 코안 주비를 바탕 아니 만 코안 도비를 봐 세대 가르세레 세레가라 아니 말이 받도베 아니 말이 붙고나사데 레사바도 레사바 레디 파 남시에 그 도바인자 我听着我的拉西金没家，他宽多别人吧，他宽就别人吧。我听着为快点去吃他们去，刚是快点去拿他们去，现在给人家给人吧提他， koan jubi rinpe wang tu junze tang, koan dobi rinpe wang tu chepe junze ji rinpa teta, kashi kode chena junze ji rinpa teta luwa meba, chenden tu doba tang. Orwa chotu ma, kashi kode chena tamze ji junze na ya luwa me to shen se, mi pi teso kanyin kun shi ba, se tangzin, mari ba ki, mi pi teso te dadu zimbi zimba di, 先有开山了，你上节机会那么来修吧的，是没被大说看也过去吧，等你上节机会那么来修，呀。
So then verse 10 it says, one who sees the cause and effect of all phenomena of both cyclic existence and the state beyond sorrow as forever unbetraying. So here state beyond sorrow refers to nirvana. So if one were to combine this with the Lamrim outline, here it says cyclic existence refers to the manner of one, the manner that one enters or takes rebirth within cyclic existence. And also then the state beyond sorrow here, this section talks about how one reverses that process, in order to be free from cyclic existence. And the root of it all lies at the mind of bewilderment, the mind of ignorance that grasps our inherent existence. So here, by seeing these two stages, the stages of entering rebirth, how one causes rebirth in cyclic existence, and how one frees oneself, one reverses that process. So by seeing the cause and effect of all phenomena in these two processes as being forever unbetraying, then one strives to destroy the root of cyclic existence. And it says here, and for whom any object trusted in by the grasping mind has completely disappeared. So this is any object trusted in by the grasping mind refers again to the grasping or adherence to the truly existent I or self, and one seeks to eliminate that. If one has achieved that, if one is able to eliminate that, has at that time entered the path pleasing the Buddhas. Yes.
Oh yeah, now what then the Lua Mebatang, Tomba Kelly tell you, Koani, Chichi Sosa now what they say to Tatun to you, Combataba me. Then they shall do Samba, and then I say you don't show me to ba. 我可能先去当把下头干了，但是项目都把，但是让的出的毛嘛，什么嘛矿子那些我们那些钱呢，是吧？这算还是哦。 但是这边那说完那说，看都是那7万呢，谈这7万单些吧，听你看了这玩意，查完嘛的这不高，现在说完那些，看都是那7万呢，谈这7万单些吧是，但今这吧出完一百，俺这让些就出完的一百的，但这个军站的但那出把一张，俺这谈这个7万单把的切吧。 嘛，单把切吧，哦，但听着话的，让就，等进这话穷啊，给等进这话就要明白，我让先去嘛住吧，让先去当吧，我的一张让先去当吧，俺那快切吧，你才才，那我等着路上面把汤是敌人不的，是吧？那我等着路上面把他把开连这个快呢，其实说那我特色都，他从图表讲把大把要买的，等着脚腿怎么当把下没都。 东巴下对，但是专门都把天那干了，我呢，事实上呢，我这些都他都有光把多嘛没事。那是有呀。
So next, the definition of not having completed the analysis of the right view in verse 11. If the appearance of dependent relation which is unbetraying, is accepted separately from emptiness. So if one is, and as long as they're seen as separate, then one has still not realized the Buddha's intent. So here it says, if one is looking, whenever one looks at dependent arising, dependent relation, dependent arising, then one is unable to focus on emptiness, lacking inherent existence self. So, but whenever one looks at emptiness, one is unable to accept or to establish the independent arising, you know. So therefore, this is something similar to, then one has a mind that is similar to the lower tenets, lower schools of tenets, whereby, you know, they are unable to combine these two streams of thought or views together. When they look at emptiness, they are unable to look at dependent arising, or the dependent arising, they are unable to look at emptiness. So therefore, one needs, as long as one has still these two views as separate streams of thought, you know, then one, as long as they're seen as separate, as it mentions here, then one has not realized the Buddha's intent, and one has not realized the ultimate view of emptiness that's intended by the Buddha. Nos?
Tenzin driver chunga yinzang, ane rangshin chi tongpa res, shiwa. O kankan jela ra la pa, tete rangshin chi tong sing, sunga na sing, shiwa. Jujen shen la ra la pa yinzang, rangshin chi ma chupa res. Rangshin chi chu na jujen shen la ra ma liya go res, kankan jela ra la pa, tete rangshin chang chu chen sing. O di kung la, ane ma chupa shi yun do yun na la, kashi jela jewa temaji, teni jewe rangshin yomami, jela rala kante tongshi sen, sunte, wo sun, kante kankishi de paye yun, sunwa sangshi jene, wo jujen shen la ra leba, jujen shen ma chashi, ane chashi shen la ra leba yin zang, ane rangshin ji tongpa re, wo tongpa tenjun ge tenda, tenjun tongpe tendo kowa, ane tendo zhowa. 我让西人做没把就叫做但这没路通啊，对不对呢？那些有些正当规矩呢，是那些的男生马上把它下来，第有些正当让些去出啊的，啊你去吧呢，啊你特别提着特别就把做吧啦，是哦。
So then the definition, having completed analysis of right view, if these two realizations of dependent arising and emptiness are happening simultaneously without alternation. So as mentioned before, if one has not mastered the view, whenever one meditates on or focuses or absorbs in this view of dependent arising, one simply is unable to, you know, simultaneously do that with emptiness. One has to deal with the two subjects in an alternating way. So therefore, but however, there will come one point of time when one is able to focus on these two simultaneously. Only then one would have achieved a view of emptiness. And how is that so? When that happens, when one looks at dependent arising, one's immediate comprehension is that of emptiness. And when one looks at emptiness, one comprehends dependent arising. So as Michelle also quoted from different scriptures, where it says that which is produced from causes and conditions, you know, are by nature naturally not established, not truly existent. That which has arisen, that which needs to rely upon causes and conditions to come into existence, necessarily does not have true existence. And also about that which is born from causes and conditions is not truly born, for there is no truly self-existent phenomena. So this way, when one sees dependent arising phenomena coming into existence by depending on causes and conditions, then therefore one understands it to be necessarily referring to emptiness at the same time. You know, these two views come to complement each other. So it says, and for merely seeing dependent relation as completely unbetraying, the definite ascertainment comes that completely destroys the way all objects are apprehended. apprehended. So this is the apprehension of true existence, or the grasping or the adherence to the view of true existence. And that is completely destroyed when one achieves this true mastery of combining the dependent arising and the right view of emptiness. And therefore it says, at that time, the analysis of the ultimate view is complete. Lost.
Oh yeah, today in that Tombani said, the Tombani said, Karisana, that Shella Ram Malaba Tomba, the Shuanashi, Shella Ram Malaba. Oh, Shella Ram Malaba Tomba, Chitanagi, Chio Kandiji Yinaya, Oboyina, Rangajuja Shella Raleba. Obo Mayemba, and the Macha Chichi Yinaya, Chachi Shella Raleba. Shella Rale Mando, Shella Mad Raleba, Shella Madu, what true what you meba yinzang. Shella Ram Malawati, and Gaja Yimbari. Shella Ram Malebe Tombati, and Tomba Tony said that did it. Koleva Chasana. Oh, Tenta Shuvanashi, Tachi Shuvanashi, and Madruba Shivi to your castle. Kashi Jella Kiva Temati, Teni Kivi Rashi Yemai. Jela Rale Candies, Jela Rale by the Korawan to Matubare, Shella Tewades. What is one I say? They must say, I know Gajan was with Galayang. Tell a Dacia one, Shella Ram Maleva Day. Tell me about the time about war, Chenesuan, I say, Chene. What Shella Ram Maleva the Mebadi, Maleva de Rasin Chuache. Chitanago, Kandiji in a Shella, Teva Shella Rale by Yezang, and a Shella Ram Maleva Tomba Yezang, Shella Ram Maleva Tomba, that Ameba said it being by Teladatia about the Shella Rameba, and it tell her. Dame batela, and it chichi dame bata Kazak dame in yours. And it Kaza Shella Rapumbola Sova Shella Ra Leva, Maleba Tombati, Kazak dame. Pumbola Sova Chacha Sobalam, and Ra Leva de Ramaleba Tombati chichi dame, Cheneota, Dusin Bade, Roma, Dusin.
So then then it says the definition of having completed the analysis right view. So here you're talking about emptiness. So essentially, what is emptiness? Emptiness is referring to that all phenomena are dependent arising. You know, the dependent arising meaning that they need to necessarily have come into existence independence upon another. You know, independence upon another, whether it is external phenomena or internal, internal phenomena. There needs to be phenomena have come into existence by relying upon their parts. In order to come into formation. So therefore, all phenomena come into existence by relying upon their parts. You know, and that which does not rely upon, does not need to rely upon parts, does not need to depend on its parts and portions to come into formation, and that is what we call the object of refutation. So that is how we recognize the object of refutation. So as mentioned a quotation earlier, that which is arisen from others or from causes and conditions and parts and so forth, then that is not truly born, that is not truly produced, because it is it does not have independence, you know, it doesn't have the right or the nature to exist from its own right. It is produced by dependent on its parts coming together. So here, so the this selflessness, this is what we call emptiness or selflessness, that has two parts: the selflessness of phenomena and the selflessness of persons. The selflessness of persons is referring to the empty, being empty or devoid of the truly existent self that does not, that is independent, that does not have to rely on the aggregation, the congregation coming together of the five aggregates. You know, so by not that I that does not depend on the coming together of the five aggregates, that has an independent identity, that is the object of refutation, and emptiness is precisely the emptiness of that. And then when there is the emptiness of phenomena, then, as mentioned before, that which is produced from these parts and portions, it is devoid of that, independent of that, as having a true self-identity. That is precisely what is being negated in this view. Yes.
Oh yeah, that is你看说了，那么你经常在这个trouble 我们就我们对了的，现在那边有的生活当，当边没得这些，当边你对咱这屋前面出现了，他这个trouble 我们就说现在大家明白的，是吧？这已经西游记经常规矩了，这些这边在话说啦，瞧不到的去。咱现在那个有的生活是的，那我点点路有的说完了，点点有的生活。东北上西没把老有的说完了，点点没把生活。我的中国人没大是越大生了，上西越把大越大话的了，越大是个人。点点没把大越大话的了，没大是个人。越大生了。他你这当就在那，你当说他没把老我前的说完那些，我越他是呢，你让心去出啊，让心去出啊的越别他钱，我让心去出啊越把大话的越他钱，但是没把的没他钱，但是没把的没他钱，这没但是没把大越大话的没他钱钱的都行吧的。因为现在那边越到生活上是干了，但这路都上完了，但呢，让些越把大越让些越把这生活因为现在那边越到生活当是，东边没到实行是一个，让些没把路都上完了，但呢，让些没讲，但呢没个吧。但呢，没有我个提前的生活一般，现在那边有的生活，他东边没得这些，东边你是，你他那把想就个就在这屋前面出现了，你谈成大约啥把民就说，现在他都是没的。
Then the next section, the particular special quality of the Prasangika view, verse 13, it says, furthermore, appearance eliminates the extreme of existence, and emptiness eliminates the extreme of non-existence. So here there are two views being addressed here. The view of the extreme of existence is the view of what we call eternalism, that all phenomena necessarily have true nature or truly established from their own side, having true nature of inherent self. And then there is the emptiness eliminating the extreme of non-existence. So the extreme of non-existence is the view of annihilism, whereby one negates the existence of any type of phenomena, saying that all phenomena do not exist whatsoever in any way possible. So here, in this case, one employs the two aspects of this view, dependent arising and emptiness, in order to overcome or negate these two views. When one talks about dependent arising, then one understands due to the force of that, one negates the view of eternalism, realizing that all phenomena have come about due to causes and conditions. So therefore, they do not have true existence, and because of that, not having true existence, therefore they are not eternally true or eternally real. And therefore, and likewise for the view of emptiness, when one meditates on emptiness and how all phenomena lack true existence, so therefore one comes to the force that one understands phenomena does not have true existence, therefore they are dependent arising, and because of that one is able to overcome or negate the view of nihilism, which is holding on to the extreme of non-existence. So if you realize how emptiness manifests in a manner of cause and effect, when these two, emptiness and dependent arising, play the role of cause and effect, in relation to correlation with each other, then you are not captivated by wrong notions holding extreme views. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's the reason. That's how much money you get. And it's all you just say, "And that was, and it was some good money. And it don't money long about the lack of it. What don't you do with our men? And it's all chances of booking a Thomas to me to buy. 만다데 년주기 창조주 도바 제발라야 아니 돈이 도비 아니 가서래 또 왔다 봐 년주지 살라와 되베자 시라지 바로도 치말라 라와 차오 산이 아니 개동 발라 소와다 아니 다 되니 가서래 진주 가서장 강진농을 남되니 매번 창조 매번 송 세계가 시라 농 시라지 바로를 치면 도에 가서 아니 돈이 도벽에 남디 매발라 chanju sembo kaya toba meba sumbayeza 아니 사모 동반이라 말람나 아니 타바 kaya tom미도 말이자 동반이라 당여가 로그가 되는 말이
So next, the last section where it says, having gained definite ascertainment, advised on pursuing the practice. Sorry. Before that, then here we have completed up to this point of time the explanation regarding the three principles of renunciation, bodhicitta, and view of emptiness. Though one might have generated perfected views of renunciation as well as bodhicitta mind, if one has not perfected the view of emptiness, mastered the view of emptiness, one is unable to achieve full enlightenment of Buddhahood. So therefore, in the Heart Sutra, it says at the end of after the mantra, it says, this is how the bodhisattvas train. This is a manner to the bodhisattvas train. So therefore, and also quoting from different sutra sources, that one can see how that the view of emptiness is extremely important and vital in the role of existing one to achieve the state of Buddhahood. Yes.
Oh yeah, that the inzada kondo shiwa nashin chani ngeju menani ani koyo tende nyewa shiwa ke tame ba ngeju nyewa de ko chanju ji se menani ani sanje ju komato ji ku ju mu ju me zo ba yin zang chanju se man ko sem de ni ye jang yang da be ta wa menani ani koyo ta wa je ba min ju ba yin zang da lam ji so ba sum la lam ko ba tende yin ba de是吧我的yin zang lam lam ko wa yin zang tende da ka so 남이 지대 산지 trouble 대다 남지 저원 남지 나는 랑게 시신도 비제 다 남지 저원 남바스 병에 좀 차세 야다베 따와데 남지 저원 숨보대 아니 퇴삼제 땡라 팜네 아니 랑게 뭐 진짜 아니 남서 숨제 내가 아니 랑게 야보지 시니 또대 잡아 아니 시와 제요 거와데다 가고 고미주 인바인자 나나랑 그 지신 또베제 아니 리지도지라 연바다 셈 남도라 연바게 연바 땜벼 권에 아니 가서래 연바트네 가서 대다 남지 저와 남순제 나랑 연바데나 아니 잡아 제요 권에 아니 땡지 두마 아니 타바다 탈려 쳔버 코만 안바 두고 그래 아니 부스찬이 아니 차원봉아 왔다와라 아니 두 예비관에 아니 담아나 임바리
So this final section here, having gained definite ascertainment, advice on pursuing the practice. So the above sections, well, we have said, in brief, is to summarize, without renunciation, one is unable to be free of samsara. Without the bodhicitta mind, one is unable to, one does not have the cause to, the primary cause to achieve Buddhahood. And despite having these two, renunciation, bodhicitta, but without the right view of emptiness, one is unable to sever the root of cyclic existence, which is ignorance. So therefore, and then here Lama Tsongkhapa advises Tsagung Ngang Trapa by saying, in this way, you realize exactly the vital points of the three principal aspects of the path. So here, realize here referring to having, by relying on the force of hearing and contemplating on the teachings. By hearing the teachings from Lama Tsongkhapa, then having ascertained these teachings, having understood them well, the next step would be to bring them further into realization through the tool of meditation. So having known well, to further them into realizations through meditation, therefore it says, resort to seeking solitude in order to further one's meditation on these three principles. Generate the power of effort and quickly accomplish your final goal, my child. So here, my child refers to Lama Tsongkhapa's affection for Tsagung Ngang Trapa as being a very close disciple and dressing him in a very affectionate way.
오야 된데 인자 대달 남지 저 남지 남숨지 남랑 그 지시 또 베세 엠바텐디 진디 또 전에 땡지도 많이도 주시 부세가 부서 무서 담사데 사오몽 왕차발라 담바레데 뒤네 안에 장고나마 정어 치비치스 중간 오 탕마라 아니다 마다바나 임바레 대이장 알아서 있나야 오다 대나신 전에 공도 수반 나신 전에 안에 남자 저 남았으면 담보 퇴선이 때라파 안 퇴선이 때라 배마셔라 내가 배 퇴화치고 대 개치고 이래 와 퇴화 전에 아니 퇴화 제와라 때네 아니 내려라 몸봐 세와 퇴화 때문에 미세 되면 꿈보라서 매제 놀치죠 공부에 체험해봐. 폼바 주자면 자오칭我那些전에我담보 퇴화 개체와 퇴화 체험 शेवा 주세 퇴화 체화라 때는 랑도진에 셰我아니 퇴원 되라 랑도진에 셰위가라 아니 동아지 제시가 주디발란 도바 아니 대화 두지 주 아니 대화라 점마연장 아니 주중지 나와 땡겨와래 아니 퇴화 대만 임바 방세 퇴화 체화라 되네 아니 디나기 아니 퇴마에 배차와 탐제 방안데 아니 이게와라 제지도 내데 아니 두바인자 등지지 나와 땡겨와래我天这边主中间老瓦当，安尼等于是老瓦，等于是老瓦钱，第一都，安尼他卡上了，考完了多把钱吧，是俺们不一样的嘛，做个三节有恐怕多把钱吧了，俺多把钱别爬去，因为我们在西这边爬下来钱吧，帮过我人长，这帮完钱吧了，安尼我现在去到去帮过我人长。退完地了，退完两个电话托是两个人电话托吧，他都是因把的。等于讲我退上公司养马车吧，他妈希望起来的开车修，我等呢退的三光，俺那看吧看呢看都白的，俺那他我因为告诉了经济的他大才的。人家一掏他落了街，三节就恐怕掏不把钱，他等着就应在的，等于讲长嘛给他落庄那样了，开始不起来加油的是。
Yes. So here it says, in this way you realize exactly the vital points of the three principles of the path. Resort to seeking solitude, generate the power effort, and quickly accomplish your final goal, my child. So here, even though technically, historically, this text was composed by Lama Tsongkhapa for his very close disciple, whom he affectionately calls his child, which is referring to Tsagong Ngan Trakpa. But we, being followers of future generation disciples of Lama Tsongkhapa, we can understand this last two words, my child, as being in specific reference to all of us as well, future generations of disciples. Addressing us in a very instructional way, that one should engage in hearing, contemplation, as well as meditation upon these points of the path. It is important to practice whatever one has heard. By doing so, one is no longer ignorant of the true nature of things. That which is by hearing the teachings, that which is unclear becomes clarified, and through hearing one comes to know all phenomena, all dharmas. One comes to know the points of adopting and abandonment, what was to be adopted, what practices are to be adopted, what are the wrong things that are to be abandoned, and then one engages in virtue, one strives in virtue, and this is like the three higher trainings compared to the higher training of ethics. And then through hearing the extensive hearing of the teachings, the wise or the scholarly are able to abandon meaningless affairs, meaningless pursuits. And this is like the higher training of meditative concentration. And then through hearing, one is able to achieve Buddhahood, and which is here we mentioned earlier through the force of the wisdom realizing emptiness. By cultivating the wisdom realizing emptiness, one is able to attain the peace of nirvana, of full enlightenment Buddhahood. So this is equivalent to the higher training of wisdom. So therefore, it is important in order to attain such a complete state of Buddhahood, whereby one completely ceases, eliminates, exhausts all faults that exist, and one comes to complete and perfect and master all the qualities that one can possibly achieve, this fully enlightened state of Buddhahood. In order to achieve that, it is very important for one to engage extensive study of the Buddha Dharma.
Oh yeah, today in the Tamaki Lamson get what in the Yuari, you shout in Lamson, what in the town, and it's all. Loving the sound on children into Lama sea chair. And it cause that you call the show and I see chair. Turn a shiver chip, go young, cheba in bed, tell you turn around and go newer than to be lalera, net to chow, chow, channy. I don't want Jango song or chip, living now as a tambana, channy, Maranzoya, and that Tagara. Turn a shiver chip, go what it, that lalling catcher. Can't to do in the chair, the catcher, but it's some conversation.
So here, as we all know, there are actually currently existing commentaries on the three principles of the path, and also there are various Lamrim commentaries, the greater, more extensive commentaries of the path of enlightenment, or even the briefer ones. So there are varying lengths of commentaries on the path of enlightenment. So please definitely read these commentaries and listen to these teachings as much as one is able to. As Lama Tsongkhapa exhorts us disciples, we have to engage in extensive listening to the teachings, and whatever we have teachings that we have heard, we should practice it according to the best of our ability and to the best of our capacity. So please definitely keep this in your heart, in your minds, to make it a goal and aim to always study and to practice, cultivate the teachings of the Lamrim. Yes.
Oh yeah,
thank you. Page 100. Sam Guru Ran Mandala Kamniya Dayami Changju Semju Rinpoche Mage Banan Kekurushi Keba Nyamba Meba Yang Kone Kondo Helwa Shun Kanre Rawe Kowe Shinkande Pendande Wa Malu Jungwe Ne Chere Sewa Tenzin Gyasoi Shabe Sete Padu Dengyo Yi Donye Ninje Sundo Jube Lan Sheshe Sese Kanjin Dendrun Gun Shana Bemo Tenzin Gyasola Sowa Deso Shedun Lundro Sho Pande Lame Kuse Demba Dan Kanya Yongwa Digi Jungwa Dan Da She Malu So San Jani Nyudo Sangye Topai Shingi Loi Tenye Rindo Bele So Nye Nye Kada Yamba Kanshi Sabade Lome Mari Gidon Jowago Namdring Yawe Wambo Dagyuji Ema Sumbe Tsira Kundo Yang Jambe Yangi Sewe Jezune Dembe Rimba Kunsan Lamgi Cho Nye Nye Drube Gyanani Chisho Rangi Chishin Tobe Lamgi Ne Shudra Tsewe Changwe Tangegi Ruwe Yigi Mumba Seche Ne Gyawe Temba Yurin Zingyuji Temba Rinchen Chogi Ma Kya Pan Kya Kya Nyamba Gyuwe Chodeni Ninje Chenbo Yira Kyupa Yi Pende Dede Sawa Chepa Shu Seche Gyawe Mejun Chinele Ledro Chanchu Lamgi Rimpe Kya Tadu Namgi Yila Peldeshi Gyawe Zeba Rindu Kyunggyurshi Lamzan Drube Tungen Druche Shingyaken Saji Nida Mimingun Sera Gundu Gyawe Ngabayi Namda Lamda Chewa Magyurshi Kamse Teba Chola Chuchu Sushin Rula Tsumba Tiyi Che Tude Namgi Dadu Choje Shin Trashi Gyansu Chogun Kya Gyu Yin Shugi Gyabo Songka Be Chusu Namba Pewala Gege Chema Shiwa Dan Tunge Malu Tsangwa Shun Datan Shingi Dusun Dan Zhewe Zonye La Tene Gyawa Lobsang Trapa Yi Tenpa Yurin Bai Gyu
Say thank you. On behalf of all the members and your students here, Rinpoche, we'd like to express a deep note of appreciation, to thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you very much to come to Singapore to give us the precious teachings of Lama Tsongkhapa. Thank you, Rinpoche, for teaching tonight. Yes. I'd also like to acknowledge that tonight's teachings in Rinpoche present in Singapore would not been possible without the kindness of Dropen Ling, Jamie. So, Jamie, a token of appreciation, would you please come up here? Amitabha Buddhist Center would like to offer the Dropen Ling a silver-plated 1,000-arm Chenrezig here. Thank you. Just a round of applause, please. Padre family, and their kindness. Thank you. Thank you. Rinpoche will now take his leave.
Mi me se